Hey there, welcome to Be the Authority, the mini-masterclass lesson 2 of 3. Make your book hypnotic and get subconscious success. Presented by moi, Jonathan Chase. Be the Authority is a simple guide for entrepreneurial experts, executives and educators to begin with your book to boost your business and your life. We're going to be answering the 5 questions your book needs to answer to appeal to the subconscious. And we're going to be using the methods we teach. There are 5 subconscious learning styles, at least there are in the HypnoArts Mind Profiling Subconscious Success Style Model, which we teach to all our coaching clients. That means there are 5 subconscious main questions your book must answer. What for the observer, why for the evaluator, what if for the predictor, who for the creator, and how for the performer. And during this very short class we'll be using the KISS rule. That's keep it simple and straightforward. I know there's the marketing version of that, which is keep it simple and stupid, but we don't want to insult anybody's intelligence. And there is also the one that I tend to use quite a lot, which is keep it simple and subconscious. You know, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler, just like Albert Einstein said. You obviously got to answer the questions like what does your work give, get, teach, inform, enlighten and empower, and of course the catch-all, what does it do for me now? But we're going to break it down into 5 subsections so that we can look at each type and each style of learning separately. We'll do that very quickly, and most importantly we'll be doing it so that you can hit not the 80-20 that most books hit, but the 100%. What is the question usually asked by the observer? Observers need the 2 P's. The first P they need is the promise, which we believe should be your subtitle or even the title of your book. More often than not it's the subtitle. And they also need the proof, but hey, you're an expert, so you will have social validation with case histories or testimonials from clients. The who question is for the creator. Creators need personal stories. You know, they'd be really impressed that you managed to get into the world's press, but they also want to know who's behind the book and what their story is. By your story, we're not talking a boring bio, but what speakers call the heroine or hero story. And often this is something we discount. Hey, we were there. It was boring and, you know, we got through it. So we discount it as something unimportant. I'd like to mention here the reputation reminder or the brag. Please don't use it, and if you do use it, only use it if you have proof or someone else said it. You know, a newspaper quote or something like that, but don't make a big thing of it. And please don't start with it. Please don't tell me that you're the world's best, greatest, fabulous, most fantastic. That's going to turn the creator in me straight off. Using the KISS rule and applying that to your story, you can get away with an anecdote, a momentous memory, a metaphor, an analogy, or even a celebrity or client case study or story, but it must be relevant to the promise of your book. For the creators, this adds the hypnotic element. It engages their subconscious, it fuels their imagination, and you know, it makes you interesting. And when you're interesting, it means that you don't need to worry about entering the marketing malaise of finding a niche. Your unique story and style will make you the niche. Why? That's the question that evaluators are most likely to ask. And evaluators need you to deliver organized detail. In fact, evaluators need the 5 P's. They need a process, a plan, a pattern, a premise, and a principle. They'll probably even need the profession, the gender, the generation, and even the geological location of whatever it is you're teaching. Evaluators need to know that you know the details and you know what's going on. For instance, we found this graphic from January the 10th, 2016, that shows that while the big 5 publishers are taking 49% of print book sales, and by the way, that's mostly fantasy and fiction, you see that the small, medium, boutique publishers are taking a huge 40% chunk of the book sales. And unfortunately, the self-published books and the Amazon published books from CreateSpace and that aren't doing very well at all. Evaluators need to see that your information is well organized, and these people will do some research. They will actually go into the look inside in your book and look at the table of contents. How? Well, we're talking about the action-taking performers, the risk-taking performers. They're going to need to know how, and they're going to need to know how now. As the expert, you know how to do something, how to make something happen, or how to stop something happening. Explain this in 5 to 10 steps, stages, or strategies. We find that 5 to 10 produces a long enough book. In his best-selling book, Clear Your Head, author Tim Box, who's an anxiety control expert, picked 10, and he went all the way from worrying is never the best strategy right through to the last and first rule of anxiety control. Dr. Hugh Quigley, in his best-selling book, Starve the Monster, A Powerful Process to Kill Your Addiction Thinking, pointed at the professional, functional user, the person who drinks maybe too much wine, does maybe a bit too much gambling. He wanted to putting the process of starving the monster together in just 5 simple, easy steps. The what-if question. This, of course, is for the predictors amongst us. And this answer provides a safety net for the predictors. And I know people say to me, oh, predictors, they're the most negative people. We don't need negative people. Let's get rid of negative people. I hear that so much from entrepreneurs. But let me tell you something about predictors. If it wasn't for predictors, we wouldn't have fire extinguishers, we wouldn't have smoke alarms, we wouldn't have life-saving seat belts, and I know from personal experience they do save your life. We wouldn't have crash helmets on motorbikes, hard hats on building sites. The chances are that if they need your expertise, the predictors have already failed, or they think they can fail. So you need to do things for them. You need to tell them if there are any rules or regulations, stuff that your people need to know, even if it feels to you negative. You also need to kill myths and old wives' tales, like the bestseller book means the best book. It actually just means the number of books sold in a small period. And you need to reassure misunderstandings that they're quite aware could be misunderstandings, such as get-rich-quick thinking, by simply telling the truth and telling them that you need to have the purpose, passion, persistence and patience to create something that can really turn into a legacy, because, you know, life and business are a long game. You need to show the predictors what to expect, and that this, whatever it is you're teaching, has worked before for other people. As we said, there are 5 subconscious learning styles, and there's 5 main repurposing types: video and visual for the observer, books for the evaluator, classes for the predictor, coaching for the creator, and one-to-one, here's how to do it for the performer. So in the next video, you'll discover how to repurpose your book into passive profit products and how to use the business well and profit pyramid approach we developed in HypnoArts for our coaching clients. And of course you can get more. Don't just sit there. Ask questions in the comments. If you're in the LinkedIn or the Facebook group, obviously you can ask questions in the group. You can ask questions in the comments if you're on YouTube or Vimeo, and if you prefer Twitter and Instagram, please use both the Be The Authority and the HypnoArts Books hashtags, and we'll pick you up and we'll get chatting. And of course you can pop along to hypnoarts.com and maybe work with us even further. I'm Jonathan Chase, and I'll see you soon.